Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and as you can see, today we'll be doing the Eradicators. I'm excited to bring you all this deck, and as you can see, we're starting off with Linshu. His kill is Counterblast 1, put into the soul. When attack hits after this unit boosted a unit with Eradicator in its card name, you may pay the cost, and if you do, choose one of your opponent's rear guards grade 1 or less, and retire it. Because we don't want those pesky starters, or whatever it is. Grade 1 that's in our way. Next up, for heals, the Eradicator one, because we do need name specific counterblast. Therefore, the 8 crits are also all Eradicators, and the draws are as well. So Eradicators, the counterblast, name specific, the damage that it deals, and the draw power. It's actually basically everything you want for a Narukami deck, in my opinion. Next up, for Gould, the Eradicator kind, once again for the name specific. Most cards are Eradicators in this deck, excluding a very few, such as Rising Phoenix. Because we don't really use the soul, this card is perfect if you need that extra draw power. Sadly, his power lacks a bit, but you know, can't have everything. This card, on the other hand, is perfect. Deadly Eradicator Ue. His skill is put this unit into the soul. When your grade 3 Narukami is placed on the vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row and retire it. So it's a free retire if you well, you have to sacrifice him, but that's perfect to fill your soul if you've used Rising Phoenix skill. Next up, the Limit Break Enabler, Aghelm Draco Kid. Limit Break Enabler, pretty standard and self-explanatory. Then 3 Demolition Dragons, the 10k for Eradicators. And if I'm not mistaken, 4 Cho-Os. The skill is choose another of your Eradicator rear guards and put it into the soul. As you can see, that's for Rising Phoenix. When this unit is placed on vanguard or rear guards, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row and retire it. So this deck is really heavy on the retires, and for the main card, that's just perfect. Then 4 Lawrence Force Dragons, Counterblast 1. When your grade 3 Eradicator is placed on vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. We're being kind. We can, we're letting them choose who to sack. And then lost, as you kind of saw earlier, the Spark Rain Dragon, the 12k for Eradicators to bring that extra power, not leaving anything up to the imagination. Then, next up, we are bringing you 3 Ignition Dragons, one of which is SP. Promoting, SPs, I guess. Not really. His Break Ride skill is Counterblast 1. When an Narukami rides this unit, your opponent chooses 2 of his or her rear guards and retires them, and your vanguard gets plus 10,000. His other skill is when this unit attacks, if the number of rear guards you have is more than your opponent, it gets plus 2,000. And he has the Lord skill. Now what's so fun about this guy is that he works with most Eradicator units, especially with Descendant, who we have twice in this deck. His skill is Counterblast 1 and choose 3 of your cards with Eradicator in its card name and discard them. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, if the attack did not hit during that battle, you may stand this unit and it gets plus 1 critical. It's a once per turn skill. His other skill is Counterblast 2 Eradicators, and he gets plus 5,000. It's basically the unit that Kai used to replace Overlord in the beginning of the new season. Link Joker, that is. It's a pretty cool unit. I hope he, gets a stride or something of the sorts. He is pretty cool, but he's nothing compared to this guy. I mean, I've been trying to get this video up to you guys for a while now, And boy am I glad that I can finally show off Gauntlet Buster Dragon. Because basically a while back, before GBT05, this guy was nowhere to be seen. He was, you know, an Eradicator, meh. But his skill. When your opponent's rearguard is put into the drop zone due to an effect from one of your cards, he gets plus 3000 in a crit. I love my crits, so you know what that means. I have at least 5 copies of him. I'm using 3 in this deck just to get the amounts correct, but never fear, he's always in the in hand. And you know, GBT05 came and he got a stride. Do have to say I don't use the stride that often, but I wanted to wait with the video until I got him at least once. Yes, I only have him once, but that doesn't really matter because I don't really stride with this deck that often. I actually put in the 2 Zoras, whose skill is when this unit attack hits a vanguard, your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. You choose up to 2 from your cards from you choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's bind zone, drop zone, and bind them face up. That's, you know, pretty basic. For Vanquisher, it's pretty good, but basically we just need to get that GB2 skill for this guy. You can flip whichever card you want. That's why we play the 2 of Zoras, because it doesn't really matter. And his skill itself is Counterblast 1. Choose a face down card from your G zone and turn it face up. GB2. When your face up, when your opponent's rearguard is put into the drop zone due to an effect from one of your cards, this unit gets plus 5000 in a crit. So he's trying to be Gauntlet Buster Dragon basically. But if you have Gauntlet Buster Dragon in as a hard card, your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. So these two, they're besties basically. Lore wise, and you know, these two do have the synergy. They're made for each other after all. But I do prefer Gauntlet Buster himself. He's just way too cool. And you know, I'm so glad I can finally bring you guys this deck. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.